This is the Retirement Bullpen with Richard Warner. The team at Warner Financial Solutions want to help you feel confident about your retirement, no matter where you stand. Get more at warnerfinancialsolutions.com. Now, the Retirement Bullpen.
Get in, everybody. It's time. You're getting the phone call from the bullpen to the mound. You are in the Retirement Bullpen with Richard Warner, Retirement Income Certified Professional at Warner Financial Solutions there just outside of Omaha, Nebraska in the Auburn area. I'm your co-host, Doug Turnbull, and I would love you to get in touch with Richard and his team, Rick and the crew there at warnerfinancialsolutions.com, 402-274-9185. Last episode, we discussed what an RMD is. That's a key element or a key threshold in retirement. And today we're going to get into the tax benefits of the Roth IRA. I look forward to hearing more about those. But first off, Richard, sir, how you doing?
Doing great. How you doing today, Doug?
I'm doing really well, thank you. Now, I'm going to go off the wall here, okay? Your name is remarkably close to the composer Richard Wagner, okay? Has anybody ever confused you or accused you of composing any kind of music before? Do you have any musical ability?
I wouldn't say I don't have any, but no, nobody's ever accused me of that. I get called Richard Wagner from time to time.
Okay. I'm sure that's how some Americans that have never heard of Wagner would read the composer's name too.
And everybody seems to think I'm either Italian or Hispanic when they first meet me. So other than that, there's no confusion. But yeah, and maybe it's because in the summertime I'm a little darker. But
okay, hey, take any dub you could get. I'm pasty and white here in Atlanta, Georgia. All right, so but we're looking forward to the thaw out of spring here, and of course you're suiting up to go on your mission trip in Mexico. And we'll hear about that in our March episodes there. So we're trying to get warmer, trying to get more toned, and trying to get our finances in order too. Richard, let's get to the tax benefits of the Roth IRA. And honestly, the more I learned about Roth, Richard, I just wonder, well, what is there to lose? There have to be some cons for this thing. And I mean cons like disadvantages too, because I hear way more advantages. But we're in the middle of tax season, and I'd love to hear how Roth can help people out.
Okay, so let's go over some basics, and I'll try to do this quickly because we could spend a lot of time on Roths. So there's a couple of ways you can, actually several ways you can benefit from Roths. From a contribution standpoint, we'll start off with. So if you're still working and earning income and you don't have an option in your 401k, you can actually make a contribution to a Roth as long as you don't make too much money. So they do have maximum income restrictions if you're contributing to a Roth. Those numbers are fairly high, so a lot of people can participate in it. The other option would be while working is a lot of 401ks now have a Roth option inside of them, and a lot of people aren't aware of that. Now, why one versus the other? Well, the benefit of the Roth versus the regular is when you're taking money out later, it's tax-free. This can be a huge advantage in retirement. It doesn't affect your Social Security income. It doesn't affect your other assets. The IRS can't get their hands on it. If you had nothing but Social Security and Roth income, you would live a tax-free retirement under our current tax law. So the problem is getting there, because when you're making a contribution to your IRA, when you're making a contribution to your 401k, what happens is they take the funds off of your paycheck. So it reduces your taxable income for the year. So you pay less income taxes at the end of the year on the amount of money you made because you lowered it based on your contributions. The problem that creates is you get this pile of money that grows that has never been taxed. We talked about RMDs in our last session. It forces this required amount you have to take out that's never been taxed and can create tax burdens in retirement. Well, while you're working, the negative would be you're not going to get that tax write-off if you're putting it into the Roth side, because the money that goes into a Roth has to be after tax. Any growth off of that is tax-free as long as you have held the account or any account at all as far as a Roth goes for 5 years, okay? Once you've had that happen, everything out of that's tax-free. You always have access, even before that 5-year waiting period is over, to the principal you put in because you've been taxed on it. But the growth does not become tax-free. Then once you get past that 5-year window, everything in that account, everything in your Roth funds is tax-free. Okay, this is huge because no matter what they do to tax rates in the future, I mean, we have how many trillions of dollars of debt? We're getting closer to the 40 trillion number every day.
Yeah.
Every single day we're getting closer to that. And how do we pay for that? We pay for that through tax revenue. It's unfortunately the government can't go out and pick up a part-time job to pay down their debt. Their part-time job is increasing what comes from you and me in the form of taxes. So what's going to pay that down in the future? Our taxes.
Yeah.
That's it. So will taxes be higher in the future? I don't see how they aren't. So we want to have as much money, in my opinion. This is how I do it from my side. And anybody who's getting near to retirement, this is what I would recommend them to do, is start building up more and more of a Roth account. Now, you might be thinking, well, I'm retiring next year. I just retired. What do I do? I can't make contributions anymore. Or maybe I've been living in retirement for a couple of years. Anybody is eligible to consider doing Roth conversions as long as you have qualified money. So if you built up that pool of money in your 401k plan, your traditional IRA, whatever the deferred comp plan you have is, it's never been taxed. You can piece by piece convert that over to a Roth IRA. You could also do it in a lump sum, but you got to keep in mind, you want to manage the tax burden of the conversion. You see that money in that 401k has never been taxed. So when you convert it to a Roth, whatever you convert is going to be taxable that year. So if you convert $100,000,
it's going to be considered as income, basically. If you have $100,000 at a 401k, oh no, I need to convert it to a Roth, and you go press the button, convert to Roth. It's like you made an extra $100,000 that year, right?
Exactly. And so that's going to put you in a higher tax bracket with that conversion, which means that $100,000 you might need to take out $30,000 to pay your taxes. So then you only get to convert 70, or you're going to owe 30 when you do your taxes next year, one of those two. And if you're not 59 and a half and you do a conversion and you have them pull, this is something to understand, you have them pull those funds out of that IRA to pay the taxes, you also will pay a penalty because you withdrew money early to pay your taxes.
Gotcha.
I know it sounds kind of crazy. If you convert it all over, you don't have a penalty. But if you have it withheld to pay your taxes, you'll pay a little bit of a penalty. It's not usually a big deal, but it can catch people off guard a little bit when they get that penalty.
So someone that's under 59 and a half, how do they successfully convert a Roth, or can they convert it to a Roth without paying a penalty? Is there a little, can you drip by drip over time?
So you can do smaller amounts knowing you're going to get a tax bill. Okay. Yes. So let's say you converted $10,000 over in a given year. Well, that's going to add $10,000 to your taxable income. As long as you don't have anything withheld in that conversion and you just pay the bill when you do your taxes, you won't get penalized. Because what happens when you pay the bill out of your IRA is they actually pull money out of the IRA to pay the income tax. Well, if you're not 59 and a half, that's coming out premature, which creates the 10% penalty on whatever they pulled to pay the taxes. Okay. So now when you're in retirement, though, past 59 and a half, that's not an issue. What the issue is not doing too much. So we pay such a high tax consequence that we never actually recoup the benefit of paying the taxes because we pay too much. So we want to keep it in a manageable bracket because whatever you convert is going to get your highest bracket.
Whatever you convert is going to get your highest bracket. Yeah, no doubt. And they're definitely aiming for that. I mean, we on the consumer side are aiming to try to pay as little taxes legally as possible. They're aiming to recoup it, especially when you talked about that trillions of dollars of debt. So there are a lot of things to consider here. I'm sure there technically are ways that someone could try to do this on their own. Hey, I listened to this podcast and I watched this thing and then I read this blog or whatever. But it seems to me that this is something that I wouldn't recommend to do. I'm sure you would recommend that someone get some help to do that. So if they want to talk to you more about a Roth conversion or just the tax benefits of contributing to a Roth in general, how do they start that conversation?
Well, you can obviously book an appointment through our website. You can give us a call. I like the old-fashioned way. Just pick up the phone and give me a call. Give us a call. We'll sit down or set up a time that mutually works for both of us. Sometimes people like to start these conversations over the phone just because they want to get a basic idea. We could talk for a few minutes just hypothetically about your situation, if that makes sense, just to kind of see where you're at. But ultimately, we want to sit down. We want to look at your situation in a detailed manner, as detailed as we can. We want to project that out into the future. What do we want to project in the future? We want to project your future tax consequences of not doing anything, and then compare that to what it could cost you to do something. If you can save money by doing something now based on current tax law, think how much money you would save in the future if tax rates go up, because we're at some all-time lows for federal income tax brackets right now.
Yeah.
So this is a great time to take advantage of lower federal tax brackets to utilize conversions. But it really starts with that conversation where we look at all your stuff and how that's going to impact you. Okay. And if you don't have a lot of money in qualified plans, it's maybe not a big deal to you. If you have a lot in savings or non-qualified investment accounts or that sort of thing. But quite honestly, most people that we run into, their biggest asset other than Social Security is their 401k.
Sure.
And that thing has never been taxed. So when you combine that 401k and that Social Security together in retirement, you can create a lot of tax issues, especially when they start forcing you to take it out. And the more we can convert now, the lower we can reduce your required minimum distributions that you have to take out later, which reduces your tax burden at potentially higher tax rates to save you money long term. So when you're retired, living on that fixed income, you have more control over your situation versus the government coming in and taking a big chunk off the top with taxes.
Right. That makes total sense. Yeah. Tax rates are low now. Why not make hay while the sun shines? Okay. And hey, besides walking people through RMDs, you and the Warner Financial Solutions team, Richard, are helping people with so much more. Can you just quickly explain the other services that Warner Financial does?
So when you come in, we're going to look at, especially if you're on the doorstep or in the next few years looking at retirement, we're going to look at, okay, when's the best time to take Social Security? Because you want to build that in along with this whole tax planning, because Social Security and what you're taking out really go hand in hand from a tax standpoint. Medicare is going to be right around the corner for you, or maybe it already is there for you if you're around that retirement age. We want to help you make the best decisions from a Medicare standpoint. Investment management. Man, it's great to make really, really good returns, but we also want to alleviate some of that volatility in retirement, because you pull money out in a down market, it can create a lot of potential issues for the longevity of your account, because when you're selling shares on sale, you're not doing as well long term. It's going to eat away at the longevity of that account. So basically, we want to help you take these assets that you have, these income producing assets, and we want to help produce a predictable income stream throughout retirement. Part of that is minimizing taxation.
Yeah.
And that's a big chunk of it, because if you can keep more of your money, you've got more to spend on the things you want to spend on.
Yeah, and wouldn't that be nice? All right, and having that dependable retirement income too just alleviates a lot of stress there. If you're wondering how to get it done, one thing I've heard about tax benefits of Roths is trying to pay the tax on the seed and not the field, because once it's in the Roth, that thing continues to grow. And then you really have, along with the other things you mentioned, a nice bed of income or a nice bed to draw from to have that good retirement income.
That's a great analogy, because you can defer that thing down the road a long, long, long time. You don't ever have to take it out. Obviously, at some point you may want to spend it, but even if you don't, it goes on to the next generation and they get the tax benefits of it as well.
Is anyone surprised when they haven't done this Roth conversion or started contributing to a Roth, and then they open up their books to you, they've just started an account with you or just done that complimentary consultation, and they're like, in blank years, you're going to have to pay taxes. I mean, do people like bug out? I mean, I would think that there are people
sometimes
that get surprised. Yeah.
Yeah. If you have a lot of money in pre-tax and you project that thing out to 73, 74, 75, and when the IRS says, hey, buddy, you got to start taking this out, and you look at what that number could be based on how you're investing in historical returns and what that projected growth is.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling to them sometimes. It's like, wow,
yeah,
that's a lot. And I don't anticipate, and if a lot of the scenarios you look at, they don't necessarily need to pull that much money out.
Yeah.
Some years they might, but not all years. So why would you want to pull it out? Well, because the IRS says you have to. So you want to try to avoid that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, to answer all of those questions, set up that complimentary consultation at 402-274-9185 or go to warnerfinancialsolutions.com. If you also call the office too, when they do have events, and they've just finished some up recently, you can also sign up for any of the seminars, workshops, events that Richard and the team do. And of course, set up that appointment as well. Be sure if you go to warnerfinancialsolutions.com, hit the media tab, you can catch up on all our past podcast episodes, along with going on Apple and Spotify and some of the other podcatchers. And I highly recommend you do that just to bone up on your retirement or financial planning knowledge, but also share with people you know. All right. There's someone in your circle that doesn't know as much as you after listening to Richard. Make sure they know about it, and be sure to subscribe as well. You get notifications when these shows come out roughly every 2 weeks. So Richard, thanks for walking through what I think is just a winning topic. People love to win. So, and I mean, can't always guarantee success, but certainly with this, planning a strategy is a lot more successful than, well, just going into a blind. So thank you for helping us out.
Hey, my pleasure.
Pleasure's ours too. Thanks to our producer, Brandon Benefield, for publishing this and getting it all edited and polished up. And to all of you for listening, he is Richard Warner. I love the title, Retirement Income Certified Professional. If you care about your retirement income, again, go to warnerfinancialsolutions.com or dial them up 402-274-9185. This has been the Retirement Bullpen Podcast. I'm Doug Turnbull. He's Richard Warner. And we'll have another episode coming your way soon. Thanks for listening.
Thanks.
Insurance products are offered to the insurance business Warner Financial. Warner Financial is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Warner Financial are not subject to investment advisor requirements. NPN number 7617022. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be considered as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Warner Financial is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Warner Financial.